guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I'm Rhea the Science Girl, here to talk to you about all things science. Now, before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe because it does help me out quite a lot. Without further ado, let's get right into today's topic. Are vegetables bad for you? Now, I know what you must be thinking. How could that be possible, Rhea? Because in your last video, you told us all about how dietary fiber from fruits and vegetables are so important for our gut health. And if you haven't already checked that video out, I'm going to link it down in the description box below for you. But you're right. I did talk about how vegetables are super duper good for your gut health. Not to mention, after all those years and years of being told that we need 2 servings of fruits and vegetables every day, how could vegetables be bad for us? Now, before we delve too deep into this question, let's take a look at a more basic question. Something that might be easier to answer. Something that might seem more familiar. Why are vegetables good for you? Better yet, riddle me this. What do we tell children when we want them to eat their veggies? When I was little, I got spinach makes you strong because Popeye was my favorite cartoon, and all I ever wanted in life was to be as strong as Popeye. I also got carrots make your eyesight better, broccoli makes your hair grow longer, and Brussels sprouts make your bones stronger, and so on and so forth. My parents would literally tell me anything to get me to eat my veggies. And I was over there thinking that vegetables are these magical foods and that my hair was going to grow 10 inches 2 seconds after I ate my broccoli. Spoiler alert, that never happened. They were not completely wrong though, because spinach is supposed to be rich in proteins, and it is supposed to make us stronger, and Brussels sprouts are supposed to contain calcium, and they are supposed to make our bones healthier. But notice how it's the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients in the vegetables that make them healthy. Humans need a certain amount of elemental nutrients to live, or as some like to call them, micronutrients. These include iron, zinc, calcium, magnesium, potassium, nitrogen, and the list goes on. Micronutrients are nutrients that we need in order to perform all kinds of functions in our bodies. For example, iron is a huge component of hemoglobin, which is used to transport oxygen throughout our bodies. And without it, our bodies cannot make enough healthy red blood cells. Iron deficiencies can also lead to, well, that. Another such micronutrient is zinc. We need zinc for our immune systems to function properly. Zinc aids in cell division, cell growth, carbohydrate digestion, healing of wounds, and we also need zinc for our sense of smell and taste. Magnesium is another micronutrient that's required for several enzymatic reactions throughout the body. It aids in protein synthesis, muscle and nerve function, blood glucose regulation, blood pressure regulation, energy production, and many, many more things. Another micronutrient is iodine. Iodine is required to make thyroid hormones, and as we all know, hormones control basically everything in our bodies. As we can see, micronutrients are extremely important for us to live and function properly, and we are supposed to get these micronutrients from our diet. So, where does it go wrong? Let's revisit this question. Why are vegetables bad for you? See, hundreds of years ago, vegetables were great for us. They were rich in all of these micronutrients that we needed, and consuming them basically kept us alive. But in recent years, with the carbon dioxide levels in our atmosphere skyrocketing, and before you come at me with the global warming is not real jazz, let's take a look at this graph of the carbon dioxide levels in our atmosphere over the past 800,000 years. Yes, climate change has been a thing for hundreds and thousands of years. I get that, but the levels of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere have never skyrocketed as much as they have over the past couple hundred years. In fact, the last time carbon dioxide levels in our atmosphere were this high was 3 million years ago. The increasing levels of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere ever since the Industrial Revolution is said to have increased the production of sugars and other carbohydrates in plants by 46%, while decreasing the levels of other essential nutrients in these plants. So it's not just us who suffer from nutrient deficiencies, our plants are suffering too. It's okay, little buddy. A study conducted by mathematical biologist Irakli Loladze analyzed 130 different varieties of plants over a period of 30 years at conditions of baseline carbon dioxide and elevated carbon dioxide. The statistically significant data from this study indicated reductions between 7 and 10% in 25 different essential nutrients. As you can see on this graph over here, most of these nutrients have decreased except for carbon. As people begin to consume increasingly starchy plant-based foods and eating more to compensate for the low levels of nutrients in these crops, this trend could even lead to a rise in obesity. According to UNICEF, every 1 in 3 people around the world is at risk of insufficient dietary zinc intake. Additionally, iron deficiency affects about 2 billion people globally. Millions of people in developing and developed nations are deficient in nutrients such as calcium, magnesium, and sulfur. There is no doubt that billions of people around the world are dependent on plants for their dietary micronutrient intake. One thing we can all do to prevent these deficiencies is to ask our physicians to test the micronutrient levels in our blood. By asking for a micronutrient blood test, we may find what nutrients our blood is lacking and mindfully supplement our bodies in order to keep them healthy and functioning. So stay healthy. Until next time, Rhea the Science Girl out.